KPM.
Magic has a way of working for those who believe in it. Wow. Oh, hi there. You are now watching Sukses SPM 2021 together with me, Sean Stephen, as your host. As you can see, the book that I'm holding right now is called The Clay Marble, and that's what we'll be looking in today. But before that, again, I want to remind you to always follow the SOPs in place in our battle against COVID-19 to flatten the curve, such as to wear your face mask, wear them especially when you're out of home, wash your hands as frequent as possible, use hand sanitizer, and when you're among other people, ensure that the distance between you and other people is at least 1 meter apart. And if you want to know more about this book, The Clay Marble, and also what we'll be covering today, but most importantly, who is the teacher that will be with us today, let's take a look at her profile. Why settle for good when you can reach excellence? And that's the tagline for our teacher today, Puan RENUKA. Hello! How are you feeling today?
I'm good, Sean.
Alright, so before we continue, could you kindly introduce yourself to our friends who are watching right now?
Right, hi. I'm RENUKA and I teach in SMK Perempuan Methodist Klang. I've been a teacher in SMK Convent Klang for the past 22 years before I moved down to SMK Perempuan Methodist Klang.
And in total, you have about how many years of experience?
I've been teaching for approximately 35 years.
Wow, so you know there's a lot of those experience and also knowledge that she's going to share with you today. But before we continue, how about we practice some SOPs? Here we have the hand sanitizer over here. Could you come and just sanitize your hands, and I'll do the same right after. Thank you very much. And over here, so as you can see, for those of you watching, both of us are wearing face masks. We are both sanitizing our hands with the hand sanitizer, and the distance between us is definitely more than 1 meter apart. Could I kindly ask you to go back to the original position there? Because what we're going to do right now is we're going to introduce the pupils who will be joining our lesson for today. Let's see who they are. Hi, everyone. Good evening. There we go, our 6 wonderful faces who will be joining us today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just mention your name. Please introduce yourself. We have Hani.
Hi everyone, I'm Hani, I'm 17, I'm from SFA Convent Klang, and I want to be a surgeon when I grow up.
Wow, okay, a surgeon. Well, very nice. And next we have Tushanti.
Hi everyone, I'm Tushanti. I too go to SMK Convent Klang, and I want to be an accountant when I grow up.
An accountant, great. Next we have Tarini.
Hi everyone, I'm Tarini, I'm 17 and I too go to SMK Convent Klang. I want to be a lawyer.
Sorry, you want to be a lawyer? Alright, great. All the best to you. Next we also have Anusha.
Hi everyone, I'm Anusha, I'm 17, I go to SMK Convent Klang as well, and I would like to be a dentist.
A dentist, well, that's great. We also have Anushri.
Hello everyone, my name is Anushri, I'm 17 years old and I'm from SMK Convent Klang. I would like to be a psychologist.
Ooh, an interesting career as well. All the best to you. And last but not least, we have Reina.
Hi everyone, I'm Reina, I'm 17 and I go to SMK Convent Klang. I also want to be a psychologist.
All right, 2 psychologists in the house. All right, but now that we got to know our pupils who are online right now, I actually have a question, an open question to see who is able to answer. What do you think about the topic for today? Obviously, today we are going to touch on The Clay Marble. It's a novel. So what's your thoughts on that? Maybe I can ask Hani, what do you think?
Well, The Clay Marble is an interesting story about a child's life during war, what she sees and what she endures every single day. And I think this is a great piece that brings attention to the ugly truth behind war and opens our eyes to it, where we see innocent lives taken away and relationships destroyed not just who wins or who loses, which is sadly the center of wars as we know it. So I get to see war from a different point of view and be able to reflect back on how lucky I am to be born in a peaceful country.
That's true. That's very true indeed. Tushanti, how about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I actually really do like the book too. This book is basically from a 12-year-old girl's perspective of war, and it's very interesting to see how she changes due to the people around her and how she is put into a situation where she has to make difficult choices, and it's very interesting to see how she grows up.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. And also maybe I can ask one more. Anusha, what do you think? What's your view on the novel?
I think this novel is a really interesting one. It has many powerful messages that I feel everyone needs to hear. One of my most favorite messages of this book is that pain and suffering should not make you any less weaker than everyone else. Pain and suffering should actually make you stronger. So, and we should not succumb to pain or suffering. And I really like this message. There are many more powerful messages in this book, and I think everyone should read it because it's a beautiful read.
All right, thank you so much. That's 3 different perspectives from the same novel, and I think it's also, in a way, it's very empowering as well. So, back to Puan Renuka. So, what actually are we covering today in terms of this novel or in general?
All right. Now, due to the time constraint, definitely I would not be covering it in detail.
Okay.
But I would be looking at things like I would give a short overview on the novel. And basically, my idea here is to look into the extracts, how to answer for exam questions, you know, the type of questions which would come out for the exams. So that is what I would be looking at.
All right, so everyone who's watching at home right now, be sure to get your pens and papers ready because we're going to take a short break and be back to you for Sukses SPM 2021.
Didik TV KPM.
And we are back for Sukses SPM 2021 together with me, Sean Stephen, as your host. And of course, today we have our wonderful teacher, Puan Renuka, that will be covering this novel that we have here, The Clay Marble. So, teacher, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Okay, hi girls. I hope all of you are doing good. Yes, right? It's nice to see such pretty faces in the evening, still bright and cheery, right? Okay, girls, what we are going to look at today is we will be looking at the novel, and for all those who are out there, I believe that you do know that one of the sections that we are doing for literature is the prose. In previous segments, you would have gone through some of the short stories, such as Sambal Without Anchovies and Turning 30. So today we are moving on into a different aspect of prose, which is the novel. And we do have 2 novels which you can choose to do either The Lost King or The Clay Marble. And what I'm going to do with you today is I'm going to do the Clay Marble. Now, for all those who might be new to literature, you have a choice of either taking the short stories or the novel. Okay, so do not study both. You choose whether you want the short stories or whether you want the novel. Or if you want to do a little bit of reading, read and then decide which you feel is a better choice. Okay, so we're going to look at this. Now, what is my focus for today? Basically, these are some of the things that we would be looking at. I do a quick run through on the novel. So I would give an overview of the novel, and then I would go into deconstructing the question, analyzing extract-based questions, and finally analyzing open-ended questions. Now this is already August, and in March you would be sitting for your exams, which means that you would need to know how exactly the questions, what type of questions you would get and how you are going to analyze the questions, right? Okay, now let us look at an overview of the Clay Marble. Now, Sean, you read a very profound sentence earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Something to do with magic. Magic has a way of working for those who believe in it.
Yes.
And don't we all believe in this? Yeah? We believe in it, it will work for us. And what we are looking at is a story in which a young girl who is only 12 years old, who is caught during the Cambodian War, which happened somewhere in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yep.
And during this time, how this little girl goes in search of a family and she gets to know about herself. Okay? So basically, that is the idea of this whole story. Okay?
all
Now,
right.
whenever you do a text, whether it's a short story or a novel, important elements in the story are the setting, the plot, the characters, the themes, and symbols. Okay?
Alright.
I'm making it simple for you because, you know, the symbols here cover the literary aspects, the literary devices. But when we look at a text, it's always good for us to know what is the meaning of the clay marble, as in this story. So that's why I have picked out on the symbols. Okay? Are you okay so far, girls? Yes? Okay, good. I can see your nods. All right. Okay, now we are going to go into the setting. Now, I like this to be a little bit interactive. So if I ask you questions, do give me some responses. Okay? All right. Now, can anyone tell me a little bit, because you do know your text very well. Okay, let me see. Anusha, can you tell me a little bit about Dara's village?
Dara's village is an expanse of dried up rice fields, and there are just flimsy huts and crumbling temples all around. In fact, the soldiers had set fire to the rice barns and their houses in this village. So basically, Dara's village is a very war-torn area.
Right, thank you, Anusha. Excellent, beautiful answer, right? So that actually exposes us to the conditions that these people who are known as the refugees, innocent people, the civilians who were caught during the Cambodian Civil War. So we have the first setting in this story, which is Dara's village, a village which Dara and her family has to flee from because they are going to a refugee camp which is known as Nongchan in order to get their supplies. Okay? Now, Sean, can I ask you, what do farmers usually desire if it's a supply? So what do you think that this family is going for when they go to Nongchan?
I would say supplies in terms of
Yes, supplies.
food.
You see, their village has been burnt.
Yeah, correct.
And they would like to start life anew.
Yes.
So what do you think they need? These are farmers.
Yeah.
So what do you think they need in order to start life anew?
I would say seeds.
Yes,
or,
what seeds?
Rice seeds.
Rice seeds,
Yeah.
very good. Excellent, Sean. Okay? All right, I like this. I think you can also be part of our gang, you know, when we are teaching. Yeah?
Oh, yeah,
All
of
right,
course.
yeah, it would be
I'm learning
good.
as well.
Yes, okay, all right. So, we have this family. We call them Dara's family, okay, because she's the protagonist in this story. So, this family comprises Dara, her brother, and her mother, and the three of them, they move from their village, they come down to the refugee camp in order to get rice seeds. And these are farmers. So farmers need not just rice seeds, they need all the other equipment necessary in order to start life anew. Yeah. All right? So they come to this refugee camp, and this is where they foster new bonds. Okay? So they meet up with another family, another little girl's family, and this girl is around 13 years old, 1 year older than Dara, and her name is Jantu. They meet up with this family, and with the two families meeting up, we see how this journey of friendship begins. Okay? All right? Now, war, what does war mean? You cannot expect anything. You cannot expect anything during war. You have to be forever prepared. And refugees are always people who are on the go. So what happens is that, you know, when they are at the refugee camp, the shelling happens. And as the shelling comes closer, this family has to leave the place. They have to flee from this place and go to another place which is more secure and safe for them.
Yes.
Okay, so that is where along their journey, what happens is, every story will have a lot of ups and downs, and along this journey, the two families get separated. The girls, where we have Dara and Jantu, they get separated from the older people, like the mother, grandpa, and so on. Yeah, and when that happens, you see, you must understand Dara, the protagonist. She's a young girl. Children will always be hungry.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
they will always be hungry. So while they were fleeing, this little girl was feeling rather hungry because they did not really have the food. So she saw this lunch truck in the distance and she thought, oh, if I go there, I will get a meal. And she begs her mother, let me go there, let me go with Jantu. And Jantu has a little brother whom we shall call Baby. Yeah, the three of them go to the lunch truck and an explosion happens, and during that explosion, Baby is hurt.
Oh, no.
All right, so when Baby is hurt, he has to be taken to the hospital.
Yeah.
Now, you see, that family, I would say it's like an extended family. Now you have got two families, but it's like one. Yeah. So what happens is that when they get separated, Dara is told by Jantu, you go in search of the family. I will go to the hospital. You bring the family back, get them together, come to the hospital, take me home. Okay, so little Dara now begins a journey of self-discovery, and along this journey, she goes to the army base camp where she gets to meet the general, yeah, and then she goes to from this army base camp. This is where she finally reunites with her family. After much, the story is always this, after much heart searching and searching for the family, she reunites with the family. Then she goes down to the another refugee camp where the hospital is situated to bring Jantu and Dara back. Okay, but unfortunately what happens is Jantu is shot dead.
Oh, no.
So that's a real climax there. Yeah, and you wonder, will she live or will she die? But I already gave it away when I said she's shot dead.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Now, the first thing every student has to know is you need to know your setting very well. Okay? This is a war-torn country, and within the war-torn country, you have got certain places that you need to know. Okay, so do read up on these settings. If possible, do take quotations, write little quotes which will encapsulate what exactly the setting is like. Okay, now from that I move into the plot. I think as I spoke about the setting, I had already touched on the plot.
Yes.
Yeah, so what we see here is we see the journey to Nongchan, the arrival at Nongchan, how they flee Nongchan, and how Dara has to go in search of her family. Yeah, and then you see Dara is quite a plucky young girl. And imagine at 12 years old, can you imagine yourself, Sean, at 12 years old, do you think you would be able to walk barefooted from one refugee camp to another, which is kilometers away, and be able to find your family?
If I were to look back into time at 12 years old, I wouldn't even walk more than 100 meters.
Exactly, right.
Which
You would
is-
even
yeah.
run 100 meters.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
correct.
let alone walk 100 meters. Okay, so, all right. So what happens is when she comes to this camp, I mentioned the place, the army base camp, she gets to meet the general. Yeah. And when she meets the general, she stands up to him, and she's quite a plucky girl, you see. So she stands up to him, and she is able to get a job in the army base camp.
Wow.
All right. And in that way, she finds her family, and finally she reunites with them. Okay, she reunites with the family. So now she has reunited with the family, she needs to go back. So in order to go back, she has to make sure the ox carts are ready with the supplies. Okay, so everything is ready, but unfortunately her brother says, no, I want to be a soldier.
Oh.
The brother who wanted to be a farmer, who wanted to take these supplies, now tells her, no, I'm going to be a soldier. So it becomes a tough challenge for her. How is she going to convince her brother? Yeah?
Oh, yes.
Now, in the process, she also has to go to the hospital and bring her friend back with her. Right? Okay? So she goes to the hospital. She manages to see her friend and brother. She brings them back, but unfortunately, in the darkness of the night, yeah, the friend is shot. Okay,
yeah.
so that's quite heart-wrenching,
Oh,
you
yes.
know.
Yeah.
Okay, and her friend dies. Okay, now she has to confront her brother. Her friend tells her, if you want to go back, only you can make your brother listen to you. So she stands up to the brother, and she is able to bring him along with her back to the village. Okay?
And all this by a 12-year-old girl.
All this
Wow.
done. So that's actually what we call a journey of self-discovery, a journey of understanding what you have within you. You have the courage, but you never realize you have that. Every one of us, we are like this. We do not realize what is inside us until we are put into a situation. And that's exactly how it is like for Dara. So she grows. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so from that you need to know all your characters very well. Know Dara, you need to know Jantu. Yeah? You need to know Sarun, Nia, Shanae, and there are others, mother, grandpa, Doik, and so on. Know every character. Do not leave any stone unturned when you are doing your revision. Okay? All right. Now, important things whenever we look at exams deal with all these elements. They deal with your plot. You don't realize it, but your plot is there when you talk about an event. Yeah? So it is there, right? When you talk about a character, know in detail the character. Literature is always like this. You know an onion?
Okay.
What do you do with an onion? Do you just take the onion and eat it like that?
I would need to cut it first, I guess.
You need to cut it.
Yeah.
And what do you see when you cut it?
Layers.
You see layers. And that's exactly what literature is all about.
Oh.
You are peeling every layer. And every time you peel a layer, you see something new. Okay? So allow yourselves to see there's something new. Make your own inferences. Right? Okay. Now, themes. Themes are always very closely related to all. The setting has got a theme, they're all related. Setting, character, the plot, yeah? So what are the themes in the clay marble? It's on relationships, family, friendship, yeah? Love. These things are all there in this story. Determination and perseverance on how a little girl is determined to find her family, how she pushes herself to find her family. And during her journey, there is hope, but the next moment, it turns into disappointment. So I always say hope and disappointment are but two sides of a coin. You have the hope now, next, it turns into disappointment.
Oh, yeah.
But the next time, that hope can go back into disappointment into hope. Yeah? Okay, courage. And this story deals a lot with the inner courage which this young girl exhibits. Yeah. Then we have got separation and reunion, and overriding everything is the idea of war.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, not only do you need to know these, you also need to know what are some of the symbols which are used here. The clay marble. What does it symbolize? The clay dolls. What does it symbolize? The rice seeds. What does it symbolize? Okay, can I have one of you girls? Okay, give me the rice seeds. What do you think the rice seeds symbolize? Honey, can you tell me? What does the rice seeds symbolize?
The rice seed symbolizes hope
Yeah.
for Dara and her family to be back home, to
Right.
start life anew.
Yes, excellent, honey. So it symbolizes hope. This is what we call the rice bowl of the farmers.
Yeah.
So the rice seeds symbolizes a lot of hope. But together with that hope, there's so much disappointment. Okay? All right. Now, we have looked at an overview, a quick overview of what the story entails. Yeah? Now, whenever we look at this, we also need to know what are our assessment objectives.
Very, very, very true indeed. Now that we've already covered the overview of the novel, before we head on to the assessment objectives, we're going to take a short break. And back to you on Sukses SPM 2021.
Didik TV KPM.
And we are back for Sukses SPM 2021. For the subject for today is English literature. The topic of discussion, not discussion, but our lesson today is the clay marble. Just before the break, we were talking about the elements of this novel: setting, plot, characters, themes, and symbols. And right now, we're going to dive into the assessment objectives. Over to you.
All right, thank you, Sean. All right, so we have looked at the overview. Let's now focus on the assessment objectives. As a student, it's important for you to know what are the objectives, what are the assessment objectives that this paper entails, okay? All right, now the first objective is, I'm going to make it simple. I'm not going to read what is here. AO1 is knowing your text. Know your text very well. Know that there are quotations that you might need to take out, quotations that you might need to memorize. This is what we call the evidence which you would use to support your answers. Yeah, literature is all about giving an opinion and supporting your opinion to with the evidence.
Yeah.
So AO1, remember, the keyword is textual evidence. Know it very well. AO2, this is where you make inferences. You know your text, now you make inferences based on what you know. Okay? AO3, this is where you would use literary elements. You would use language, words, images. If they're images, use those images. If they're symbols, flashbacks, foreshadowing, all these things, use these when you are exploring the text further. Okay?
Right.
And finally, AO4, you make an informed personal response. Yeah? When we talk about an informed personal response, if you can relate it to the world, all the better.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Now, so that is exactly what I have said. If you look at the words in red, you can see clearly AO1, AO2, understand, use quotations, AO2, inference, interpretations. Yeah, what is the author's intention? Yeah. What contextual information can I give? How can I relate what I know to my text? AO3, you are able to demonstrate how events, characters, relationships are presented by using language, form, and structure. Okay? And it's important for you to show, not just mention.
Okay.
Because when you mention, you are skimming the surface. When you show that you understand with the examples that you give, it shows you know your text very well. Okay? All right? And then you go into AO4, present your ideas in a coherent manner and develop a personal response. Okay? So know your objectives, and from your objectives, now let us look at some questions. Now basically, there are two types of questions which will come out. Okay? The first one is you will be given an extract. An extract-based question carries 15 marks.
Okay.
And the scope of your answer is within this extract. You do not need to go outside. It's within the extract, and if it is within the extract, that's where you develop your responses according to the... How do you answer? According to... What's the thing that you need to look at?
The extract?
The question.
Oh, the question.
The question.
Okay.
Okay? Always make sure your responses are according to the question asked and not what you think or what you have prepared.
I see, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah,
okay?
correct.
And that's a big difference. Yeah? You could have prepared A, but Z came out.
Yeah.
So you do need to answer according to the question. So that's what we are going to look at this. Look at here. When we analyze extracts, use this formula, very simple formula, draw. What are you going to draw? Simple, D for deconstruct. Deconstruct what? The question. When you get your question, highlight the keywords. Okay, highlight the keywords in your question. Then you read your extract. It will take you something like 3 to 5 minutes, maybe longer depending on whether you are a speed reader or not. Yeah? Read the extract, and as you read the extract, have the question in your mind. Highlight words there. Yeah? Because again, you are answering a question which has come out. Okay? Analyze. Analyze what? Use questions like why? Why is this like this? How did it happen? What is happening here? Analyze using these questions. Ask yourself these questions. But remember, you are within a certain time frame, 20 minutes, a lot of things for you to do. Okay? And finally, write out your response in a coherent manner. Yeah? Whereby you have got paragraphs, linking words, and so on and so forth. Now, what are we going to analyze? This is prose. In prose, you analyze the tone. If there are two people talking or more than two, what is the tone there? What is the mood that is created? Are they happy? Are they angry? Analyze these things. Look at the words. Pay close attention because people write for a reason and words carry a lot of meaning.
Yes.
Okay? Look at the characters. Look at the interaction between characters. Pay close attention. If it's an extract where there is a conversation between two or more people, pay close attention to the characters. Okay, what is the relationship between the characters? What are your reactions? What is your opinion? Okay, all right? Look at the setting and how does the setting contribute to what is happening in the story? Okay, look at the sentences. Are they simple sentences? Are they complex sentences? Right? All this play a major role in how you analyze. Okay, look at the technical devices, the use of imagery, the use of symbolism, the use of foreshadowing, and so on and so forth. Now, once you have analyzed, now you are ready to write your essay. Now, when you're going to write your essay, use this formula, which I call the peel formula, just like I told you about the onion that we peel layer by layer. So we are now going to peel and write our answer. Okay? P, your point. What is your point? You should have a topic sentence which will tell your examiner, this is my point and I am going to talk about these issues in this point. Okay? All right? E, give an example. Give the evidence from your text. Do not give evidence which is outside, which you think, oh, this is the evidence. But instead of the clay marble, you go and take your evidence from the lost king. Don't do that. Your evidence is within the text, contextual information. Elaborate. Don't say, oh, I have given you my evidence and that's it. Elaborate on it, and use the why, what, and how approach, okay? And finally, link your ideas. Because sometimes what happens is the question is given, you know everything. You have given everything, it is there, but you have forgotten to link your ideas to show your examiner, I understand this is my approach towards answering the question. And that's how a lot of children lose marks.
Oh no.
They lose marks because they like to tell stories, but they forget, I am not here to tell a story. I am here to answer according to the needs of the question. Okay?
Right.
Now, let us look at some types of extract-based questions. Okay? You need to know, you're going for an exam, you're going for war. You need to know who your opponent is. So that's exactly how an exam is like. You are going to sit for an exam, you need to know what are the different types of questions that can come out in an extract-based question.
Oh, yes.
Now, Yes, right, Sean? That's
Oh,
what we
very,
need
very
to know,
important.
isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, right. So we need to know these things. And how are we going to know these things? Go into MOE's website, Ministry of Education's website, go
right.
into English literature, sample items. Now, under the sample items, you can see all the different samples of how the questions would be. And these are some samples that I have pulled out, which we can use for extract-based questions. Okay, so for example, sample 1 is an opinion-based question, a personal response which is fully developed, where they ask you, what is your opinion? Sample 2 is also based on what are your thoughts, what are your feelings. It's again a personal response type of question. So if you're going to give your thoughts and your feelings, you really will have to look into the extract and try to identify what you think about the interaction between characters, about the setting, about the themes. You know, if these come out, what are your thoughts and feelings? Okay, all right. Sample 3. This is a typical literary device question where you will be asked on analyzing the significance of something. So why is the clay marble so important? Okay. Sample 4. How does the writer make this moment in the extract so significant? So look at the words, look at the language, you know, look at the interaction between characters to come forth with your answer. All right. Now, girls, can you please turn to page 101 and 102? You start off with, it was the magic marble. I'm just going to give you a sample here on how an extract-based question would appear. Okay, so for example, in this incident, each character has a different opinion on how Dara was able to find her family. What do you think about their opinions? And this is where I would like you to give me your responses. Okay, Tushanti, give me your response. What do you think of Grandpa Kem's opinion?
Grandpa Kem says that it's all luck that got Dara back to the camp, and I disagree with that because I don't think it's just luck. It was Dara's perseverance, determination, and will to go on that had brought her to be reunited with her family, and labeling it as luck is just undermining her capabilities and actions. Okay, excellent, Tushanti. Yeah. So what you see here, Sean, is what has she done?
She has given her opinion, but also linked back to the text itself.
Right. Excellent. Okay. So she has given her opinion and she has linked it very clearly with the extract, and that's what you need to do. Yeah. Okay, so in that way we have got, what I have here is two characters, yeah? We have got Grandpa Kem, we have got Sarun, okay? So I think all of you out there, you would have seen how exactly you give your opinions without moving out of the extract. It's within the extract. So give your opinions and support it with the relevant textual evidence. But remember, you are answering a question whereby you need to show you understand what this question is all about. So to help you, I have got some words. These are just some, you know, it's just the tip of the iceberg. You can see lots and lots of other words, okay? So if it is an opinion-based question, make sure you use words like, in my opinion, I believe. You know, use these words. Maybe, you know, it is generally accepted that this thing is like that, or maybe it is like this, but I believe otherwise. So your opinions come out strong.
Yes.
Okay? All right. Now, that same extract now can come in a different way of questioning.
All right.
Okay, so for example, how does the writer make this moment in the story so significant? A question like this, you need to focus very closely on the words which are used. You need to focus on the actions and reactions between characters. Focus on the setting. Why is the setting so significant? What is your opinion about the clay marble? These things you will look. So it's a different type of questioning. Okay, now can I have Anushri? Anushri, can you give me some words or phrases which you think makes this moment so significant?
Sure, teacher.
Yeah.
Reunion.
Yeah. Why do you use the word reunion? What does it tell you?
It tells me that after a long time, after a lot of suffering, Dara has finally reunited with her family.
Okay, very good, Anushri. Okay, well done. So reunion tells us that after a lot of problems, she is now reunited with her family, and that makes it very significant. Okay, now what other words are there which gives us a feeling of happiness that she is there with her family? Honey.
The words snuggle and warmth.
Yeah, why do you focus on these words?
They both show comfort and security and love in the family.
Right, it shows comfort, it shows love within the family. Okay, so draw upon these words when you are writing your answer. If you look at the whole thing, there are a number of words. Okay, let's say warmth, reunion, snuggled. All these words are like you can put it into one package. Yeah, where you are going to say, oh, it gives me that feeling that finally I am back with my family, and it is so significant because she is back with her mother and her brother. Okay, then you can focus on other things, actions and reactions. How do the others react when she says it was the magic marble? You see, different reactions. How does Grandpa Cam react to it? When Dara says her journey here was because of the magic marble. How does he react? How does mother react? How does Nia react? How does her brother react? So you look at the actions and reactions between characters. Look at the setting. Where are they? So are they within a comfortable setting now? Even though it is in the middle of war, are they in a comfortable setting? So we look at words like they have come to Kung Silo's army camp for protection. So the setting tells you, oh, this is where it is safe for them. Words like we have got the fireside there, around the fire. That also gives an idea of warmth. So all these things make the moment very significant. Okay? Now, what are your opinions about the clay marble? Do you really believe that it was because of the magic marble? If you can give your opinion, that means you have gone into AO4. Yeah? So in your responses, when you attack all these things, what happens is your assessment objective 1, you know your text very well. Assessment objective 2, you can make inferences. Assessment objective 3, you are able to take out symbols. And assessment objective 4, you are able to give a personal response to the text. So with that, an extract-based question, everything is there. All your assessment objectives are met and you will score.
Wonderfully put there, Teacher Renuka. And before we proceed further, how about we take a short break and we're back to you for Sukses SPM 2021.
Didik TV KPM.
Topic for today, for the subject of English literature. My name is Sean, your host for today, together with Teacher Renuka. Let's continue our lesson.
Okay, thank you, Sean. All right, all those out there, what we have looked at is we have looked at the first type of questions, which is based on an extract-based question. Now we are going to look at the second type of question, which carries 20 marks. Yeah, which means you have to spend a little bit more time on this. Okay.
Alright.
Now, what do we have in open-ended questions? The different samples that we have here. Sample 1. Okay, let's look. Analyze Jantu's ideas about war in the novel. This deals with the themes. It deals with the characters. So you need to know what are her ideas. Sample 2. This is where you get a statement, and based on the statement, you come out with your responses. Okay, for example, everybody longs for a home and a family. Discuss with close reference to the novel. Okay, so that deals with the character, the theme, the setting. Sample 3. Explore how Min Fong Ho makes this story memorable. So we are looking at the character, the setting, the themes, the symbol. Notice every question deals with every element that you have studied in literature. Sample 4. This is mainly on the symbols. Discuss the importance of the clay marble. Now let's just look. Analyze Jantu's ideas about war. Now when we analyze Jantu's ideas about war, it is important for you to know the quotations that Jantu comes out with. If you refer towards the end of your book, you see the conversation between Jantu and Dara and what she understands about war. Okay, war is like an elaborate soccer game. Yeah, and I like this question when she says, "Do I look like your enemy number one?" After all, she's only a 13-year-old girl. Yeah. Is she your enemy number one? Why do they keep shooting at us? She was an innocent victim and they shot her and she died. Yeah? Okay. Now at the hospital, I saw so many people brought in bleeding and maimed. You know, when we are doing questions like this, do not forget that you need to come out with your opinions. And whenever you're writing an essay, we always follow the head, the body, and the conclusion. So make sure in your essay you have got all these aspects. The introduction to your essay, which lays the foundation of the slant of your arguments. Your topic sentence must come out clear. Your evidence must come to support what you are stating. Okay, work along these things and make sure that you do use words and phrases which show that you understand what this question is. Okay, I'll just do a quick question with one of you. Can any one of you tell me what do you think about Jantu's ideas of war? Okay, can I ask Anusha to give me your response? Anusha, what do you think about Jantu's ideas about war?
I like her ideas of war and I agree with them. She says that innocent people are getting injured. The idea of war is basically describing how during war is actually a conflict between two parties of higher authorities. However, everyone in their way gets injured and killed as well. And I think this is a very significant idea explored in this book, and I really agree with this statement.
Very good. You see, in Anusha's response, you can see all the AOs were already there.
Wow.
Yeah? It's there already, even though you do not see the literary device, but if she uses her words appropriately, you have it there with you. Okay? Right. So I think that once you see this, you can understand how exactly we look into answering questions. So to do a quick recap on what I have done, basically I would like all of you to know your text very well. Know it in detail. Once you know your text in detail, any question that comes, you can answer it. You do not need to be afraid. Use draw. Yeah? Deconstruct, read, analyze, write. Use peel. Peel, point, evidence, elaborate, and link your answers. And finally, make sure you do a little bit of practice, pupils. Yeah? Practice makes perfect. I think that's all that I have to impart to you.
Thank you very much, Puan RENUKA, for sharing all this knowledge and scores. Very, very important for our students or our pupils who will be sitting for SPM for English Literature in the coming months, actually beginning next year. And of course, thank you so much to our pupils who are online with us today, Hani, to Shanti, Tarini, Anusha, Anushri, as well as Reina for being with us. And for those of you watching at home, hopefully this has been beneficial to you. And be sure to always follow the SOPs in place, and together we can fight COVID. We'll see you in the next episode of Success SPM 2021. Have a great day ahead. Bye!
Didik TV KPM